Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the very first edition of McDonald's Friday Football Fever of 2013. It is the preseason kickoff classic time. We are packed with games and highlights. We had a few little technical issues with our live shot in Venice, so SNN local news sports reporter Amber Stidham joins us now by phone from our game of the week. She watched the Indians just thump Southeast 42-7 in our Conley Buick game of the week. Amber, we thought this one might have a playoff feel. Instead, Venice just in total control.
Yeah, Adam, I think you put that right. They really did just thump Southeast. And keep in mind, both of these teams were playoff teams just last year. But Southeast is very young, losing more than half of their starters from last year. And then you have a very experienced Venice team this year with the addition, of course, of quarterback Dominic Marino. And I don't think there's much more I can say about Marino. He went 10 for 10 tonight, which is pretty good, and connected with several guys in the field for scoring. He actually started out the first drive connecting with Isaac Whitney, and next thing you know, it was connecting with Terry Polk the rest of the night. And Terry Polk made a name for himself just this past season, so he had a target on his back, and those two connected all night. Like I said, Marino going 10 for 10, so there seems to be a lot of offensive production there on Venice's side, and Southeast just very young, needed this experience. Obviously, it was a tough loss for them, and when you talk to the coaches, like Paul Meckley of Southeast said, they really just needed to soak in this loss, just learn from this, take what they could, and move on to next week, because when you get hit with this kind of loss, 42-7, it's tough. But they really just needed to soak this one in and see what they could do to improve, take it to the drawing board for next week. And when Coach John Peacock from Venice was asked, what can you do to really improve your team? He, of course, pointed to the one scoring drive that Southeast was able to put some points on the board. But Southeast certainly has a lot to work on, but they can never be counted out when you have the running back Courtney Allen out there. Obviously had an outstanding season last year and still had several good runs tonight. So although this was kind of a blowout, still a good game to see these two facing each other so early in the season.
A lot has been made of Terry Polk putting on 10, 15 pounds in the offseason, Amber, and apparently he went off again, had a big night.
Absolutely. You could certainly see the difference in Terry Polk from last season to this one. He does look a lot bigger, and he is carrying that ball and running through guys. If only you guys really could see the highlights, it was really very, very cool to see.
All right, maybe we'll show them next week. Amber Stidham live at our Game of the Week. Venice all over Southeast. Thanks a lot, Amber. Let's move on. Booker has had a full offseason now under head coach Johnny Jones and should show a little bit more this season. Tornadoes blew into Northport tonight. Second quarter, just a swarming sack by the Bobcats there. Wow. Northport came ready to go in this one. Then on offense, Northport goes to the air. Trent White fires to Teddy Diaz, and he's off to the races. The big fella, big gain, but he's dragged down before he can score there, and he's not happy about it. Northport gets the win all over the Tornadoes, 23-0. Lakewood Ranch was behind all game long, but turned it on late against Brandon High School. The Mustangs still, they fall just short, losing 23-21. St. Stephen's is going to take some serious confidence off of this night. The Falcons soar to a 27-0 win over Orlando's Christian Prep. Bayshore has a brand new coach, but he's a familiar face on the Suncoast. Elijah Freeman has taken over, and the Bruins played at Charlotte tonight. This one all Tarpons, though. Brennan McGill to Dwayne Reynolds there, out of bounds on the play, and then it's McGill again to the air, to the other brother, Dwight Reynolds. Nice catch, wide open, 7-0 at that point. Charlotte goes on to win this ball game easily, 41-19. Okay, we will call our first time out of the new season, but there is plenty more to come on McDonald's Friday Football Fever. How about state and nationally ranked Manatee, or the new-look Riverview Rams taking on a playoff-strong Palmetto squad? That and more still to come. Stick around.
You're watching McDonald's Friday Football Fever on SNN Local News. Woo!
Welcome back to the preseason edition of McDonald's Friday Football Fever. On we go. State and nationally ranked Manatee hosted Tarpon Springs Eastlake. 14-7 Manatee, and the Canes defense just swarms. Nashawn Smith, I don't know what just happened there, but He's in with a fierce sack. And then our first look at new QB, Josh Meyer. He replaces Cord Sandberg. That's not an easy job. Throws a quick one to Markel Hines. Nice gain there. And then the ground game comes on for the Hurricanes in the form of Johnny Lang. A little scoop pass, and look at him ping-ponging around up the middle. He gets a decent gain out of it. Johnny Lang could be toting the rock a little bit for Manatee. The Eagles, they really hung around in this one until the end, and then too much Manatee defense. Joey Lauro just all up in Eastlake's business. Brother of former Cane Anthony Lauro. Yeah, he can play. Canes turn it on, and they win it late easily, 38-7. Same old strong Manatee. Cardinal Mooney comes out smoking. Cougars get a 49-7 win over Bradenton. Christian Mooney will open the regular season with LaBelle next week. Riverview is in its third year under head coach Todd Johnson, and he's got a new quarterback under center. Rams had a tough job of visiting Palmetto, but boy, did they do well. Karan Higdon, a little bit of shake, a little bit of bake, a little first down there from Riverview, and then expect to see a bunch of this season. Richie James, the new guy, he can run. Scoots around the left side, and he's in. He's got reservations for 6. Touchdown, 6-0. Point after was blocked. Maybe a couple of celebration flags there. Palmetto's got some athletes, but maybe he doesn't have things totally put together yet. Brian Waiters, nice kickoff return for a big gain, but then he fumbles it. Rams would recover. Happened to Riverview as well, though. Ensuing drive. Richie James' mind maybe working faster than his feet early in the season here. He is quick, no doubt about that, but he's going to fumble it at the end here. That's a nice play by Palmetto defense to scoop it up, but the Rams go on to get a nice win with a surprising score, taking it 13-3. Good win on the road. Lemon Bay off to a slow start to this season. The Mantas get blanked by Naples, Barron Collier, 14-zip. LB opens the regular season at Port Charlotte next week. I expect Braden River to be a little improved this season. Pirates hung relatively tight with the Patriots tonight, but lost their kickoff classic 21-7. Dixie Hollins, Rebels of St. Pete, came down to take on the Sailors. This one was all Sarasota from the get-go. Colin Neal finds Sean Bain Jr. on the quick pass for a first down. Bain, one of the better receivers in our area. Led to this. Justin Austin runs through the middle, finds his way through the crowd. He hits Paydirt, 7-0 Sarasota, making it look easy. And the Sailors on defense as well, doing some nice things. After a previous interception in the first quarter, Sarasota gets another in the second. It's Chris McKenzie, and it's a pick six. He's going all the way to the end zone. 14 nada at that point. Sarasota looking very, very strong. Great punter this season too. Sailors get a win easily, 37-7. ODA made the trip to Naples First Baptist, had a tough night. Second quarter, already down 33-0, trying to put something together. Austin Hoppy, the keeper. Nice spin move, gained some yards. Next play, Jason Feinberg, he's going nowhere. He is tackled for a loss. FBA's Jack Buelltel, then he's going to throw one, and when things are going wrong for you, they're just wrong. Looks like a pick into double coverage, but that's Tyler Brecker coming up with it. Wow. Christian Rodriguez would convert from there from a yard out. First Baptist cruises to a 52-6 win. ODA just regroup. Try again for real next week. Arcadia's DeSoto County went to Port Charlotte to visit the Pirates. DeQuan Richardson absolutely broke one off on this play. Look at the big fella go. Huge gain, and he is dragged down just before he scores. Bulldogs try to go to Richardson again a few plays later. This on the reverse, but look at Ryan Harless. He is not fooled. Coming out of nowhere, drags him down. Big loss. Nice play. Port Charlotte ball. Trage McClary goes to the air, finds Paulson Heider for a nice gain. Port Charlotte opens up with a nice win. 19-15 is your final score. Well, not a pretty preseason game Thursday night for Imagine School of Northport. Sharks get chomped 23-8 by Tampa's Carrollwood Day Patriots. All right, when McDonald's Friday Football Fever continues, we will take a look at some of the games with this guy, Herald Tribune sports writer Doug Fernandez, for the first time this season. You don't want to miss that.
Watching McDonald's Friday Football Fever on SNN Local News.
All right, welcome back to McDonald's Friday Football Fever. We bring in Herald Tribune columnist Doug Fernandez. Both Doug and I got to see Sarasota just absolutely put it on in a big win, 37-7 over Dixie Hollins. Should we expect a lot out of Sarasota this year?
Don't know. One thing that's encouraging is they have a scat back in Justin Austin, as we're seeing here, or that's actually Sean Bain. They've really never had a shifty scat back type. They've had the Marquis Upshaw, the Rod Tullis, the Bowling type forward guys. I expect Justin Austin to get the ball a lot of carries, especially with Colin McNeil coming in to replace Hunter DeWitt. You know, Dixie Hollins was 0-10 last year. They made a lot of mistakes, but you really don't look at your opponent. You look at how your team executes against who's ever lined up against you. And I think that's what Ed Vols has to be proud of after this game.
You know, they did well on their end. They did what they had to do. Riverview, Todd Johnson's third year, maybe a little bit of pressure on him. He's got a new quarterback, kind of a new system almost with the way they run things. Karan Higdon, he can run the ball.
He can run the ball. You know, if you read our message boards on HT Press, people say, why don't they give this guy the ball more than 12 to 15 times a game? He carried the ball 36 times, which if you remember John Sprague, this is John Sprague type football, and especially with Richie James, who's more of an option type quarterback. Again, you're going to see Riverview probably try to pound the rock a lot this season.
Is Palmetto bad, or is Riverview this good, and should Palmetto be concerned?
No, Palmetto last couple of years you have the athletes to compete. They have a little quarterback controversy up there right now, but if you're a Riverview fan, you have to be really encouraged by what you saw today.
Manatee had a little bit of trouble with Eastlake. This was a game that was on TV nationally, and they ended up going on and getting a solid, Manatee 38-7 win. Maybe opening jitters for the new guys, new quarterback, new running back.
I think that's what it is. Josh Meyer, I think Manatee is going to be one of these teams that's good to start off. They're going to be very good as the season goes on. Josh Meyer has 8 returning guys around him on offense. Joe Canan said he doesn't have to win games. We have other guys who can do that. Expect Manatee to be there when it counts at the end.
And the defense ought to be filthy as usual.
They will. There's the traditional uphold up there in Manatee. They do it every year.
Hard to bet against Manatee. I made a trip to IMG Academy not far away. 5,000-seat stadium for the Ascenders, their first year under new head coach Chris Wenke. They start tomorrow with Palm Beach. What do you think of them?
You know, I went out and talked to the AD out there. They're only going to have about 40, 45 guys, so they won't have a freshman team. They won't have a JV team. But if you look at some of the guys they got nationally, they got some big guys, big offensive linemen. They didn't play anybody around the area because no one wanted to play them.
That's right.
So I'll be very anxious to see how they look going forward. Expect a big crowd tomorrow night out there.
And it wasn't for lack of trying. They tried to get everybody locally on the schedule. Nobody wanted any part of it. All right, that'll wrap things up for this first McDonald's Friday Football Fever of the year. Thanks for joining us. Check out htpreps.com or the Herald Tribune for more coverage of these games. There's more local news and weather just ahead. Stay with us.